All right, the first thing that I want you to do is to tell me a little bit about yourself and your time at your job.
Okay, well, as I mentioned to you, I'm currently working in recruiting in the media industry, but I'll go backwards and start at the beginning. I went to Syracuse University and I got my degree in advertising management,
Okay.
and I interned at advertising agencies, and then began my career working in account management for advertising agencies, working on some major accounts like Procter and Gamble, where I would manage all of their creative advertising.
Okay.
And then from there, I moved on to NBC,
Hmm.
the entertainment network, as in my role as in integrated marketing, which meant that I was managing. Um, the best way to describe it is I don't know how familiar you are with brand partnerships, but basically we
Hmm.
would work with brands to create content for them with different shows on NBC. So, for example, if one of our shows was The Voice, I
Hmm.
would put together partnership programs that a brand like Unilever could do
Hmm.
with our show. So then I would come up with ideas for how they could partner with our show. That could be an in-show integration. That could be creating special content to run during the show. It could be creating content to run on the social media channels for the show. And all of the content was branded. So that is what I did for the majority of my career. Um, at NBC. And about 3 years ago, I moved into recruiting. And in at the firm that I'm at now, we specialize in helping companies hire for people in digital media and other similar fields, which means that if a company needs to hire an account executive or head of
Hmm.
marketing, or another similar role, that I help them find those people and hire them.
Cool. So my first question for you was, how did you get started in your career?
So the best way that I got started, like I said, was having those internships, and I was
Hmm.
able to have internships for ad agencies because of being in a program that specialized in advertising at college at Syracuse.
Hmm.
I was able to reach out to alumni, and do a lot of what you're doing now to
Hmm.
get the interviews, where I reached out to different people and networked to work on getting internships. Once I had internships, I made sure that I did a good job there, and I kept up those relationships and those connections so that I could reach back out to them when I saw that there was an available job that was at entry level for me to join that ad agency. So that was how I got my first job. And then each job after that was based on making relationships at that company. Uh, People moved to different companies. And if you keep up your relationships, you'll know the person at the new company. And when you see that they have a job available, then you can apply to it through the person that you know. I was very interested in advertising because I liked the idea that it was something that I could manage from a business perspective, but it also had a creative component. I liked managing the creative process. But I wasn't in a position to actually create myself. So I liked being adjacent to it. And then from there, I just started getting to know people in the industry, and I got to learn about different types of jobs. I didn't know about integrated marketing or brand partnerships when I went to college. It wasn't until I was already working in advertising and met some people who worked at NBC and found out that that was what they were doing, and I thought it was sounded interesting. So then I pursued it.
Okay. Um, what did a typical day look like for you?
Um, I'll tell you the typical day working at NBC would be My role would be to manage the whole process. So I was the main person who would speak to the client. So in a typical day, a client would brief us
Mm,
on a new assignment, a new campaign that they were looking to promote. Then I would work internally with our creative team, our production team, and our digital or social team, whatever the components were, to develop an idea for a campaign that we could do for the client. Then I would spend time putting that together in a slide deck, and then I would present that back to the client and talk to them, walk them through the slide deck and say, this is our idea. This is the way that we're going to, this is the timeline. These are the different areas that we're going to explore for you. Um, the sales team would then talk to them about the money part and how much that costs. And once they approved it, I would then spend the rest of my day um, working with the creative team to make sure that we could produce the content that we promised to the client. So every given day is split between all of the components that I said, but on different with different clients.
mm.
So in the morning, I could be pitching a new idea to one client. In the midday, I could be working with the production team to execute something that we had sold to a different client. And in the afternoon, I could be pitching our ideas to a third client.
Cool. What skills would you say were most important to succeed in your field?
Communication is absolutely the most important, and communication means a lot of different things. It's verbal and it's written,
Mhm.
and it's both in your communication skills and in your active listening skills. So it was very important for me to be an active listener to our clients, make sure that I completely understand what their goals were and also what areas of concern to make sure that I could always address them when coming back to pitch them with ideas or with executing their program. And then internally, it was also that I could communicate very well to the creative and the production team exactly what the client's needs were and translate that, but also be an active listener for our creative team with any concerns or ideas that they might have, and then sort of be a mediator to communicate both of those. And then for written communications, that was making sure my emails were extremely clear, and that I had detailed follow up. And also in slide decks, you need to be able to clearly and concisely communicate the idea in a strategic way, so that the written communication is clear as well. And then the last skill I would say is the most important is being very detail oriented to make sure that you are delivering everything that's promised.
How have your experiences in advertising and integrated marketing shaped your approach to evaluating talent and building professional relationships?
That's a really good question. I like to think that my experience in that field made me have a skill as a people matchmaker. So kind of like dating, but when
Mm,
it comes to work, you have to see the vision of this talent would go really well with this team and what they're trying to accomplish, and being able to understand interpersonally the skills and the relationships that would work well together.
what key insights did you gain from transitioning out of media and brand partnerships that have influenced your perspective on career development and industry growth?
I think uh, I think the important skill that I learned was being a hiring manager myself, hiring people at all different levels, people like yourself who, are about to graduate and looking for their first job,
Mm,
people who are, career professionals and already have some experience. I learned to evaluate people in different ways, knowing that early career people, it is more about um, what their potential is,
mm,
what their skill set is based on what they have worked on in college, whereas when you have been working for a few years, it is assessing what their actual work is, what their actual skill set is based on their actual work versus just the potential.
Well, that is all of my questions that I had. So,
Okay, those are good questions. If you go to put this together and you
mm,
realize that you need something else to fill out for your project, feel free to message me and I'm happy to help you.
okay. Thank you for your time today.
No problem. Good luck with everything, Caleb.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.